Ladies and gentlemen, life is short, brutally short. And the worst thing you can do, the absolute worst, is to let it slip through your fingers, to waste it in trivial distractions, in meaningless pursuits, in laziness and resentment, because life is not something that just happens to you. It's something you contend with, something you shape, something you build. Every moment you waste, every hour spent avoiding responsibility, every day spent in aimless wandering, it all adds up. And before you know it, you look back and realize you've squandered the most precious resource you have, time. So ask yourself, what are you doing? Where are you going? Who are you becoming? Because if you don't take hold of your life, if you don't strive towards something meaningful, you will suffer, but you'll suffer in a way that is pointless, in a way that breeds bitterness and regret. And that is no way to live. So wake up, stand up straight, face the chaos head on. Take responsibility for yourself, because your life matters, but only if you make it matter. Taking responsibility is the foundation of a meaningful and successful life. It is the realization that you are not merely a passive observer in your own existence, but an active participant who has the power to shape your future. Too often people fall into the trap of blaming external circumstances, their upbringing, their environment, or even sheer bad luck for their lack of progress. While these factors certainly play a role, they do not define the entirety of a person's destiny. The moment you decide to take full responsibility for your actions, your choices, and your outcomes, you reclaim control over your life. Many people avoid responsibility because it is difficult. It requires effort, discipline, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths about oneself. It is far easier to blame society, family, or fate than to acknowledge that you have agency. But while avoiding responsibility may provide short-term relief, it ultimately leads to stagnation and suffering. When you refuse to take responsibility, you hand over control of your life to external forces, making yourself a victim of circumstance. This mindset fosters resentment, frustration, and a deep sense of powerlessness. On the other hand, when you take responsibility, you empower yourself to create change. Personal responsibility is not about self-blame or harsh self-criticism. It does not mean denying the challenges you have faced or the difficulties that have come your way. Instead, it is about accepting that regardless of what has happened, it is now up to you to respond in the best way possible. Life is unfair. It always has been and always will be. Some people are born into wealth, others into poverty. Some grow up with supportive families while others experience neglect. Some face discrimination, illness, or loss at an early age. These are harsh realities, but dwelling on them does nothing to improve your situation. The only thing you can control is how you respond to the circumstances you find yourself in. Taking responsibility means understanding that your habits, behaviors, and mindset play a crucial role in shaping your future. If you are not where you want to be in life, it is not just because of bad luck or unfair circumstances, and it is also because of the choices you have made. If you are not financially stable, it may be due to spending habits, career decisions, or a lack of discipline in saving and investing. If your relationships are unfulfilling, it could be because of the way you communicate, the standards you set, or the people you choose to surround yourself with. If you are physically unhealthy, it is likely a reflection of your diet, exercise, and lifestyle choices. None of this is to say that external factors do not influence these areas, but ultimately you are responsible for taking action to improve them. One of the most common excuses people use to avoid responsibility is that they do not have control over certain aspects of life. While it is true that you cannot control everything, you can always control something. You may not be able to change the economy, but you can change your work ethic, your financial habits, and your willingness to learn new skills. You may not be able to change your past, but you can change how you let it define you. You may not be able to control how others treat you, but you can control how you respond. The moment you stop making excuses and start focusing on what you can do, you begin to make real progress. Taking responsibility also requires self-awareness. It involves looking honestly at your life and identifying the areas where you have fallen short. This is not an easy process because it forces you to acknowledge your flaws, your mistakes, and your weaknesses. Many people avoid this level of self-reflection because it is painful. But without it, growth is impossible. When you take responsibility, you stop making excuses for your failures and start learning from them. Instead of blaming others, you analyze your own role in a situation and determine what you can do better next time. One of the biggest dangers of avoiding responsibility is that it leads to resentment. When people refuse to take ownership of their lives, they often look for someone or something to blame. This can create a deep sense of bitterness and victimhood. They begin to believe that the world is against them, that they have been unfairly treated, and that there is nothing they can do to change their circumstances. This mindset is destructive because it prevents people from taking action. It convinces them that they are powerless, and once someone believes they are powerless, they stop trying. On the other hand, those who take responsibility for their lives develop resilience. They understand that setbacks and failures are not excuses to give up, but opportunities to learn and grow. So they do not waste time feeling sorry for themselves or resenting others for their success. Instead, they focus on what they can do to improve their own situation. They recognize that success is not handed to anyone. It is earned through discipline, effort, and persistence. Taking responsibility is also essential for self-respect. When you take ownership of your life, you build confidence in yourself. You prove to yourself that you are capable of handling challenges, making difficult decisions, and overcoming obstacles. This creates a sense of pride and accomplishment that cannot be achieved through avoidance or excuses. The more responsibility you take, the more capable and competent you become. It is also important to recognize that responsibility extends beyond just yourself. When you take responsibility for your actions, you become a better friend, partner, parent, and member of society. You stop expecting others to fix your problems or carry your burdens. You become someone who others can rely on, someone who contributes rather than just takes. This not only benefits those around you, but also deepens your own sense of purpose and fulfillment. Many people believe that responsibility is a burden, but in reality, it is the path to freedom. When you take responsibility, you free yourself from the limitations of excuses, self-doubt, and victimhood. You stop waiting for someone else to change your life and start taking action to create the life you want. This is not an easy path. It requires discipline, effort, and a willingness to face challenges head on. But it is the only path that leads to real success, fulfillment, and meaning. Time is the most valuable resource you have, yet it is also the most wasted. Unlike money, health, or material possessions, time is the one thing you can never get back once it is gone. Every second that slips away is lost forever, and most people do not realize this until it is too late. Wasting time is not just about procrastination or idly passing hours doing nothing. It is about spending your life on things that do not matter, avoiding responsibility, and distracting yourself from what you know you should be doing. People often justify wasting time by telling themselves they will start tomorrow, next week, or next year, but the truth is, time does not wait. The longer you delay taking action, the harder it becomes to regain momentum. One of the main reasons people waste time is because they lack clarity about what they want. Without a clear goal or purpose, it is easy to drift aimlessly, filling your days with distractions and meaningless activities. People often turn to entertainment, social media, or mindless routines to escape the discomfort of not knowing what they should be doing. This creates a cycle where time is spent on things that bring no real value, leading to feelings of emptiness and regret. And instead of using time to build skills, pursue goals, or improve their lives, Many people allow themselves to be swept away by trivialities, never stopping to ask if what they are doing is actually meaningful. Another major way people waste time is by engaging in unproductive habits and behaviors. These habits may not seem harmful at first, but over time they accumulate and steal years from a person's life. Excessive entertainment, mindless scrolling on social media, pointless arguments, gossip, and unhealthy routines all contribute to a slow decline in ambition and personal growth. People rationalize these behaviors by saying they need to relax or unwind, but there is a difference between taking a break and mindlessly escaping reality. The more time is spent on these habits, the more they become ingrained, making it even harder to break free from them. Avoidance is another way people waste time. Instead of facing challenges head on, many people avoid difficult tasks, uncomfortable situations, and personal responsibilities. This avoidance often stems from fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of discomfort. But avoiding problems does not make them disappear. It only delays the inevitable and often makes things worse. Time spent avoiding responsibilities is time that could have been used to overcome obstacles and grow stronger. The longer people wait to take action, the harder it becomes to change their circumstances, and they find themselves trapped in a cycle of avoidance and stagnation. Wasting time also comes in the form of excessive planning without execution. Some people spend so much time thinking, researching, and preparing that they never actually take action. They tell themselves they are waiting for the perfect moment, the right opportunity, or more confidence before they start. But there is no perfect moment. Waiting for everything to be just right is just another form of procrastination. The most successful people understand that action is what creates progress. Even if the first step is small, it is still a step forward. The longer people wait, the more they build a habit of inaction, making it harder to ever begin. Negative relationships and unproductive social interactions are another way people waste time. Being around people who do not support growth, who constantly complain, or who engage in toxic behaviors drains energy and motivation. Many people spend years in friendships, relationships, or social circles that bring no real value to their lives, simply because they are afraid to let go. Time spent on meaningless drama, arguments, and negativity is time that could have been used to develop skills, build something meaningful, or pursue personal growth. Surrounding oneself with the wrong people can be one of the biggest obstacles to success, as they influence thoughts, behaviors, and overall direction in life. Another common way people waste time is by dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. Regret, guilt, and resentment over past mistakes consume energy and prevent people from moving forward. Likewise, excessive worry about the future creates unnecessary anxiety and stops people from taking action in the present. The past cannot be changed and the future is uncertain, but what can be controlled is the present moment. Every second spent reliving past mistakes or fearing future problems is a second that could have been used to take meaningful action now. One of the biggest dangers of wasting time is that it creates a false sense of comfort. People convince themselves that they have plenty of time, that they can start later, that opportunities will always be there. But time moves faster than it seems, and before people realize it, years have passed. The small moments of wasted time add up, and what seemed like harmless delays turn into lost potential. Many people look back on their lives with regret, wishing they had started earlier, taken more risks, or focused on what truly mattered. But by then, it is too late to undo what has already been lost. Wasting time is not just about personal consequences. It also affects others. When people fail to take responsibility for their time, they let down those who rely on them. Families, friends, and communities suffer when individuals do not step up and fulfill their potential. The world needs people who are willing to take action, solve problems, and contribute in meaningful ways. Every person who wastes their life is a person who could have made a difference but chose not to. Many people do not even realize they are wasting time until they experience a wake-up call. This wake-up call may come in the form of a personal loss, a sudden realization of wasted years, or a major life change. When people see how quickly time has passed and how little they have accomplished, they feel an overwhelming sense of regret. But regret is only useful if it leads to action. Recognizing wasted time is the first step, but what matters is what comes next. People often seek comfort as if it were the ultimate goal in life. They avoid struggle, pain, and difficulty, believing that a life free of hardship is the best kind of life. But this mindset is a trap. The pursuit of comfort without meaning leads to stagnation, weakness, and dissatisfaction. People who prioritize comfort above all else often find themselves unfulfilled, stuck in routines that neither challenge nor inspire them. They drift through life, numbing themselves with distractions, entertainment, and short-term pleasures, all while ignoring the deeper call to pursue something greater. The problem with comfort is that it creates a false sense of security. It lulls people into believing that as long as they are not suffering, they are doing fine. But avoiding discomfort does not mean avoiding suffering. It delays it. A person who avoids responsibility, hard work, and personal growth may feel comfortable in the short term, but over time, they will experience the consequences of their inaction. They will face regret for not taking risks, resentment for not pushing themselves, and disappointment for not living up to their potential. Comfort is deceptive because it feels good in the moment, but it often leads to long-term dissatisfaction. Meaning, on the other hand, requires struggle. It demands effort, sacrifice, and perseverance. A meaningful life is not one free of hardship, but one where hardship is faced with purpose. People who pursue meaning do not shy away from challenges, they embrace them. They understand that growth comes from adversity, that strength is built through struggle, and that true fulfillment is earned, not given. Meaning is found in responsibility, in striving for something greater than oneself, in pushing beyond personal limitations to achieve something valuable. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that a meaningful life and a comfortable life can exist together. But meaning and comfort are often at odds. Pursuing meaning means stepping into the unknown, taking risks, and confronting fear. It means working hard when others are relaxing, making sacrifices when others are indulging, and choosing discipline over convenience. It is far easier to stay where things are familiar, where there are no risks of failure, rejection, or embarrassment. But staying in a place of comfort prevents people from discovering their true potential. Modern society encourages comfort at every turn. Technology has made everything easier, from communication to entertainment to basic survival. Food is delivered with the push of a button. Endless distractions are available at any moment, and people can avoid almost any kind of discomfort if they choose to. But this ease has not made people happier. It has made them weaker. Depression, anxiety, and dissatisfaction are on the rise, despite the fact that people have more convenience than ever before. This is because true fulfillment does not come from comfort. It comes from challenge. People feel most alive when they are working towards something difficult, when they are overcoming obstacles, when they are pushing their limits. A meaningful life is built on purpose. People who find meaning are those who dedicate themselves to something greater than their immediate pleasure. This could be a career that helps others, a personal mission, a family, or a creative pursuit. What matters is that the goal is significant enough to justify struggle. A person who has a purpose will endure hardship without complaint because they understand that the struggle is worth it. They do not waste time chasing temporary pleasures because they are focused on something that truly matters. They know that deep satisfaction does not come from avoiding difficulty, but from overcoming it. Discipline is an essential part of pursuing meaning. Without discipline, people fall into the trap of seeking comfort and avoiding effort. Discipline is what separates those who achieve their goals from those who only dream about them. It is what allows people to keep going even when motivation fades. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes, influenced by mood, energy levels, and external circumstances. But discipline is different. Discipline means doing what needs to be done, even when it is difficult, even when it is inconvenient, even when no one is watching. It is the ability to endure discomfort for the sake of something greater. Fear often holds people back from pursuing meaning. They fear failure, rejection, or disappointment. They fear stepping outside of what is familiar and safe. But fear is not a reason to avoid action. It is a signal that something important is at stake. People who achieve great things are not fearless. They simply act in spite of their fear. They understand that growth lies on the other side of fear, that avoiding fear only leads to regret, and that facing fear head-on builds strength and confidence. Fear is a natural part of any meaningful pursuit, but it should never be an excuse for inaction. The avoidance of struggle weakens a person over time. Just as muscles grow through resistance, character is built through hardship. Every time a person chooses comfort over challenge, they reinforce weakness. They make it easier to quit, to settle, to accept mediocrity. But every time they push through difficulty, they build resilience. They prove to themselves that they are capable, that they can endure, that they can overcome. The more they face hardship with courage, the stronger they become. Pursuing meaning is not the easiest path, but it is the most rewarding. Those who dedicate themselves to something greater than comfort find a sense of purpose that others never experience. They wake up with a reason to push forward. They face challenges with determination, and they experience the deep satisfaction that comes from knowing their struggles are not in vain. Meaning gives life direction, while comfort only provides temporary relief. People must choose which path they want to follow, but they cannot have both. Without a vision, life becomes aimless. People who do not have a clear direction often find themselves drifting, moving from one thing to another without purpose or fulfillment. They wake up every day without a real sense of where they are going or why they are doing what they are doing. This leads to frustration, stagnation, and ultimately regret. A vision is what gives life structure, focus, and meaning. It is what pulls a person forward, giving them something to strive for, something that makes the struggles of life worth enduring. Having a vision means defining a clear picture of what you want your future to look like. It is not about wishful thinking or vague dreams, but about creating a concrete goal that gives direction to your actions. People who lack vision often fall into routines that do not serve them, spending years working jobs they do not care about, engaging in habits that hold them back, and wasting time on things that bring no real value. They wonder why they feel stuck, why life seems dull and repetitive, but the answer is simple. They have not set a course for themselves. They are living reactively rather than proactively. A strong vision acts as a guiding force. It shapes decisions, influences priorities, and determines how time and energy are spent. Without it, people are easily distracted by trivial things. They chase temporary pleasures, they waste time on meaningless distractions, and they fall into patterns of procrastination. But when there is a vision in place, distractions lose their power. The person with a vision knows what they need to do and what they must ignore. They do not waste time on things that do not contribute to their goal because they understand that every moment matters. Creating a vision requires deep self-reflection. It is not enough to simply want success, happiness, or fulfillment. One must define what those things look like on a personal level. This means asking difficult questions. What kind of person do I want to become? What skills do I need to develop? What kind of work do I want to dedicate my life to? What legacy do I want to leave behind? These are not easy questions, but they are necessary. People who never take the time to answer them end up following paths that others set for them, living lives that do not truly belong to them. A vision is not just about career or financial success. It applies to all areas of life, relationships, health, personal growth, and contribution to the world. Without a vision for health, a person falls into poor habits, eating whatever is convenient, and neglecting physical fitness. Without a vision for relationships, they settle for shallow or toxic connections that drain rather than uplift. Without a vision for personal growth, they stagnate, never pushing themselves to learn, improve, or become better than they were yesterday. Every aspect of life benefits from having a vision because it creates intentionality. It turns random actions into deliberate steps towards something meaningful. Many people hesitate to set a vision because they fear failure. They worry about setting goals they might not achieve, about investing time and effort into something that might not work out. This fear keeps them from committing to anything, leaving them stuck in a cycle of hesitation and inaction. But failure is not the enemy of progress. A person who sets a vision and fails is still further ahead than the person who never tried at all. Failure provides lessons, adjustments, and opportunities to grow. It is not a sign to give up, but a signal to refine the approach. A vision must be strong enough to endure challenges. It is easy to stay motivated when things are going well, but true commitment is tested when obstacles arise. There will always be difficulties, unexpected problems, moments of doubt, and external pressures that make it tempting to quit. This is why a vision cannot be based on shallow desires. If it is only about money, status, or validation from others, it will collapse under pressure. But if it is built on a deep sense of purpose, it will remain strong even in the face of adversity. Clarity in vision leads to clarity in action. People who know exactly what they want can break their goals down into manageable steps. They do not wait for perfect conditions or inspiration to strike. They take action daily, knowing that every small effort adds up over time. They measure progress, adjust their approach when necessary, and stay focused on the bigger picture. They are not easily discouraged because they understand that setbacks are part of the process. Surrounding oneself with the right influences is crucial to maintaining vision. Being around people who lack direction can be dangerous, as their mindset can be contagious. They will project their own doubts, fears, and limitations onto others, convincing them that their vision is unrealistic or impossible. But spending time with those who are ambitious, disciplined, and focused creates an environment where vision is nurtured rather than dismissed. A person's vision should be big enough to challenge them. If it feels too safe or comfortable, it is probably not ambitious enough. Growth comes from pushing beyond current limitations, from setting goals that require new levels of discipline, skill, and perseverance. A strong vision should be exciting and a little intimidating. It should demand more than what is currently possible, forcing the person to rise to the challenge. The mind must be trained to focus on the vision consistently. Doubt, distraction, and fear will always try to pull attention away, but the ability to refocus is a skill that can be developed. Daily habits such as visualization, planning, and reflection help keep the vision at the forefront of the mind. Writing down goals, reviewing progress, and reminding oneself why the vision matters strengthens commitment. The more a person immerses themselves in their vision, the more real it becomes. Discipline is the foundation of success. Without it, talent is wasted, potential remains unrealized, and dreams stay as nothing more than fantasies. Many people wait for motivation to strike before taking action, believing they need to feel inspired in order to be productive. But motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes, influenced by emotions, circumstances, and external factors. Relying on motivation alone leads to inconsistency, leads to failure. Discipline, on the other hand, is what allows a person to take action regardless of how they feel. It is the ability to do what needs to be done even when it is difficult, inconvenient, or uncomfortable. The key to discipline is understanding that feelings should not dictate actions. Too many people make decisions based on how they feel in the moment. They skip workouts because they are tired. They procrastinate on work because they do not feel like doing it. They abandon goals because they lose enthusiasm. But feelings are unreliable. They fluctuate daily, influenced by mood, environment, and countless other factors. Those who rely on feelings to determine their actions will always struggle with consistency. Those who develop discipline, however, act based on principles and commitments rather than emotions. Discipline is built through small daily decisions. It is not about making huge changes overnight, but about consistently choosing the harder, more productive path over the easy, comfortable one. Waking up on time, exercising regularly, reading instead of watching mindless entertainment, working on skills instead of wasting time. These choices seem small in the moment, but they add up over time. Each disciplined action strengthens the ability to take more disciplined actions in the future. Just as muscles grow through repeated effort, discipline grows through repeated practice. One of the biggest obstacles to discipline is the desire for immediate gratification. People are naturally drawn to what is easy and pleasurable in the short term, even if it leads to negative consequences in the long term. Junk food tastes good now, but leads to poor health later. Skipping work feels good now, but creates problems down the road. Avoiding challenges brings temporary relief, but results in weakness and regret. Those who develop discipline understand the importance of delaying gratification. They are willing to endure temporary discomfort for long-term rewards. They know that true success requires patience and persistence, but excuses destroy discipline. The mind is incredibly good at finding reasons to avoid hard things. It will always present justifications for taking the easier route. I'm too tired. I'll start tomorrow. A one-time won't hurt. These excuses may feel valid in the moment, but they are traps that keep people stuck in cycles of mediocrity. Recognizing and eliminating excuses is one of the most powerful steps toward building discipline. When a person stops giving themselves an option to quit, they unlock a new level of strength and capability. Discipline requires a strong sense of purpose. Without a meaningful reason behind their actions, people struggle to maintain discipline for long periods. This is why many fail to stick to routines or habits. They do not have a compelling enough reason to continue. Those who succeed are the ones who connect their actions to something bigger. They do not exercise just to look good. They do it to be strong, to have energy, to set an example. They do not work hard just for money. They do it to create a future, to provide for their families, to fulfill their potential. Having a clear purpose behind disciplined actions makes them easier to sustain. Accountability is a powerful tool for maintaining discipline. People are more likely to follow through on their commitments when they know someone else is watching. And this is why athletes have coaches, businesses have managers, and students have teachers. External accountability provides pressure to stay on track. However, the most powerful form of accountability is internal, when a person holds themselves to a high standard even when no one is watching. This level of discipline comes from personal integrity, from the commitment to be the kind of person who follows through no matter what. Discipline is a form of self-respect. A person who respects themselves does not allow laziness, excuses, or weakness to dictate their life. They take control of their actions, their habits, and their time. They recognize that their future is shaped by what they do today, not by what they hope will happen someday. When a person lacks discipline, they become a slave to their impulses, always reacting rather than acting with intention. But when they develop discipline, they take full control of their own destiny. The path to discipline is not easy, but it is simple. It begins with small commitments, waking up at the same time every day, following through on promises, setting clear goals and sticking to them. The more these small commitments are honored, the more discipline strengthens. Over time, disciplined actions become habits, and habits become a way of life. What was once difficult becomes second nature. The mind and body adapt to a new standard, and success becomes a natural byproduct of disciplined living. No one is born disciplined. It is a skill that must be developed through effort and consistency. Those who wait for the perfect moment to start will never begin. Those who expect discipline to come easily will be disappointed. But those who commit to building discipline, one decision at a time, will discover that they are capable of far more than they ever imagined. The people you surround yourself with shape your mindset, habits, and ultimately your future. It is impossible to maintain high aspirations while constantly associating with those who have no ambition. Humans are naturally influenced by the behaviors, attitudes, and beliefs of those around them, often without realizing it. This influence can either push a person forward or hold them back. Many people fail to reach their potential, not because they lack intelligence, discipline, or ability, but because they allow the wrong people to influence them. The company a person keeps is one of the strongest predictors of where they will end up in life. Negative influences come in many forms. Some people are openly discouraging, mocking ambition, and making others feel foolish for trying to improve themselves. They belittle dreams, dismiss hard work, and reinforce mediocrity. Others are more subtle in their negativity. They do not necessarily criticize, but they also do not encourage. They live without direction, without drive, and without any real purpose. Being around such people creates an environment where growth becomes difficult. Even the strongest individuals will struggle to maintain motivation if they are constantly surrounded by complacency. The human brain is wired for social adaptation. People unconsciously mirror the habits, speech patterns, and even the mindset of those around them. If a person spends time with those who make excuses, they will begin to adopt an excuse-driven mindset. If they associate with those who avoid responsibility, they will start rationalizing their own inaction. But if they surround themselves with disciplined, ambitious, and purpose-driven individuals, they will naturally begin to rise to that level. The easiest way to improve is to be around people who expect more from themselves, and by extension expect more from others. There is a common belief that loyalty to friends and family means maintaining relationships even when they are toxic or unproductive. But true loyalty should be to one's highest potential, not to relationships that hinder growth. This does not mean abandoning everyone who is not successful or ambitious, but it does mean being mindful of who has the greatest influence. Some relationships will need to change, boundaries will need to be set, and time will need to be reallocated toward those who uplift rather than drag down. Growth often requires difficult choices, and one of the hardest choices is letting go of people who no longer align with the direction of progress. Strong, positive influences push a person to be better. They challenge excuses, hold high standards, and inspire action. Being around people who are driven and focused creates an environment where improvement is the norm rather than the exception. They do not allow mediocrity to take hold. They celebrate progress, encourage discipline, and expect accountability. Their presence alone raises the standard of what is acceptable. If someone is the most ambitious, disciplined, and hardworking person in their circle, it may be time to find a new circle that challenges them further. Mentors and role models play a crucial role in shaping success. Learning from those who have already achieved great things provides both guidance and inspiration. A mentor does not have to be someone personally known. Books, interviews, and speeches can serve as mentorship from a distance. The key is to seek out those who embody the qualities and achievements that align with personal goals. Studying their habits, mindsets, and strategies can provide invaluable insights and shortcuts to growth. Limiting exposure to negativity is just as important as increasing exposure to positive influences. This includes more than just people. It includes media, entertainment, and the overall environment. If a person constantly consumes negative news, watches content that promotes mindless distraction, and engages in discussions filled with cynicism, their mindset will reflect that. Replacing low-value input with high-value input is a powerful step toward transformation. For now, reading books that expand knowledge, listening to podcasts that inspire, and consuming content that fuels ambition will gradually rewire thinking patterns for success. Energy is contagious. Some people drain energy with their complaints, pessimism, and lack of direction. Others energize and inspire with their passion, drive, and vision. Spending time with people who are excited about life, who set goals and pursue them relentlessly, and who refuse to settle for less than their best is one of the fastest ways to develop the same mindset. Success is not just about individual effort. It is about creating an environment where success is the natural outcome. High-achieving individuals prioritize relationships that serve their growth, and they actively seek out those who challenge them, who expect more from them, and who push them toward excellence. They do not waste time trying to convince unmotivated people to change or dragging along those who refuse to improve. Instead, they invest in relationships that create momentum. They recognize that success is not just about what they do, but about who they surround themselves with.